Hey, 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 everybody. Yours truly, Takara Nicole, coming at you. Really excited about tonight's live. It is indeed Tell the Truth Tuesday. And we indeed do just that. So, what we love to do here in the Breaking Free group, we love to go ahead and talk about different issues where women can truly break free and understand how to deal and process with whatever is hindering them from moving forward. And so I want to say hi to my YouTube family, just in case you're checking us out on Simply Takara. If you have not subscribed, go ahead and click the subscribe button on my channel. It's called Simply Takara. You can find that pretty easy. But I do not want to belong the time or belabor the time any further than we have. Technical difficulties are real, y'all. That's all I'm going to say. So I have the honor and privilege of bringing this lady to this platform. I had to think today as I was making me something to eat. How did we meet? So the two of us were in a group called Black Authors Rock. And we were asked to create something here in the Chicagoland area because the both of us are here. And the founder of Black Authors Rock lives in Mississippi. And so the rest is history. She's been on my radio show called Vault Talks Women Share a couple of times, just sharing her insights and her wisdom in regards to her profession, her personal life, as well as some of the things that she's accomplished. So I'm again so excited to call this woman sister and of course friend. Sister Barnes, take over the stage. Who are you? What do you do? And how are you qualified to help us? Yes, us.
Hi, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. I'm so excited to be on Tell the Truth Tuesday. I appreciate the invitation, my sister. Like she said, I've been on her radio show a few times, and I've even had my daughter to come because my daughter is a child author as well.
Yeah.
But I am qualified to talk about this issue because I am a licensed professional counselor and I am a national certified counselor. And so I just want to share my insight and try to find out what it is I can do to help our community learn about this very important issue and this very important topic.
Thank you so much. And, I was reading something and I can't remember exactly what it was. I read all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I was reading something and it was just talking about how so many people get caught up in the fact of they haven't overcame some of the things that they've dealt with in your childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And rejection was one of the biggest ones. And so then it led me to think about my life and some of the things that I had to overcome with being rejected by my dad. And that right there was one of the biggest things that hurt me, just dealing with that and what that looked like and understanding the root of it and getting down to the root and just dealing with, some of the things that I wish that I didn't have to deal with if I would have known that. And then you think, well, if I would have known that, would it really have helped? And all these woulda, coulda, shoulda go through your head, right? So just really dealing with rejection once and for all is what I really want to talk about. And even going back further, just dealing with childhood rejection, because we know that even when you think about a tree that's planted, a root system, it starts down in the root and it springs up. So even just to talk about, what that looks like. So from your level of expertise, what would you suggest to us are some really great ways of how we can deal with the hurts that we've experienced as children?
I would say one thing is make sure you identify what those hurts may be. It may be from a mother, it may be from a father, it may be from another significant person in your life, not necessarily a parent, but someone that you're very close to. So identifying what that hurt may be and actually verbalizing it. And as young people, we don't always have the right tenacity to verbalize this is what's happening to me, but a lot of young people like to write. My daughter likes to take notebooks and just write and draw. And so I encourage that. I mean, because it is actually being able to allow her to express herself. And so even as a small kid does, writing and journaling things that are troubling you, things that are bothering you, but knowing that once you do that, it opens up Pandora's box, as they call it. And so being able to be gentle with yourself when you open up that box and finding someone that you can talk to, someone you can confide in once you begin to share what your rejections may be.
Wow.
And so that would be the start.
And so, I think about, and I make it personal because it's just you and I talking and everybody else watching.
Mhm.
It wasn't until I was an adult, like
Mhm.
in my early 30s, that I started to realize some of the cycles and some of the patterns that I would
Mhm.
go through, and then asking myself, where did this come from? And
Mhm.
just actually thinking about it, because a lot of times things happen to us, but we actually, sometimes we're so far from the situation to where we kind of don't think about it anymore until we're forced to think about it, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I was dealing with was just my abandonment issues. And what I really had to think about is like, where did this come from? So my dad, I'm the fourth out of 22 kids. He wasn't
Mhm.
around. He was incarcerated my whole entire life.
Right.
So he wasn't a father. There's that. And then when I was 13, my mom moved to Chicago. Now, I lived in the suburbs of Chicago with my grandparents. She
Okay.
decided to move with my stepfather to the city, and she left me. And I was like 13.
Yeah.
So there was that other element of abandonment. And
Mhm.
I didn't realize that her leaving me like that would cause those feelings and emotions of abandonment until I
Mhm.
really started to do the work. So, how can you help somebody really just be comfortable with going back? Because sometimes going back can bring up other feelings and emotions that now
Oh,
you have to deal with as you're striving to get to the root of it. So now it's like all these things are growing and popping up, and you're like, boop, 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 boop. No, I'm trying to get to
yeah.
this.
Yeah.
How do we stay focused with that? Because I know that was one of the things I experienced, and even the clients that I coach, I'm coaching them on one certain area and asking them to go through their childhood and bring it back, and then we're realizing, okay, well, this puzzle piece goes with this piece, and this is why we do this, and this is why we do that. So just really helping us, walk through that.
Therapy. Get
Woo!
yourself some therapy. I have a client that I'm working with now, and she has lots of trauma, and specifically, it's actually childhood trauma. And so, one of the things that I told her and working with her on this past Saturday was to take a big sticky. So, in my office, I have markers and stickies.
Okay.
And so, I had this life size sticky, and I just wanted her to write her feelings on the paper, anything she can think of,
Yeah.
just so that she can get it out of her head so that we can actually begin to process. And
Indeed.
she's like, I never thought about doing this. And I said, well, I have to have you get the stuff out of your head onto paper so we can get it in your heart so that we can actually begin to work. And so that's one of the things that I've worked with her before, and it's cognitive behavior therapy. Your cognition changes what your behavior is. And so if you can control what's in your heart, change your behavior, then you'll begin to make the changes in your life. But therapy is it's instrumental in
Mhm.
order for you to begin to do the work. And a lot of people don't like therapy. They're like, I don't like therapy. I don't want to see a therapist. But
Right.
therapy is really just talking to a friend. If you put it in that mindset,
Yeah.
talking to a friend, someone that you trust, someone that you're engaged in, someone that you can kind of let it all hang out with, because it's a non-judgmental zone.
Right.
It's someone who is rooting for you at the end of the day,
Indeed.
and someone who has your best interest at heart.
Right.
And so taking advantage of therapy, even if it's like a once a month check-in, if
Mhm.
you don't want to go every 2 weeks, if you don't want to go every week, being able to allow yourself to be in that safe space to
Yeah.
talk to a therapist
Yeah.
is
Wow.
what's most important.
And that's good. And you hit another topic,
Mhm.
because a lot of times people are ashamed to go to a therapist.
Mhm.
Um, You know, I can't believe that I'm seeing, a shrink or whatever they say, or, and for me, I'm all about therapy.
Yeah.
I'm a therapist, therapy too. But
Yes.
going to a therapist is therapy.
Absolutely.
It allows for you to really shift your mind and really deal with things that you probably haven't dealt with in a very long time, if you dealt with them at all. And so I go back to myself because that's all I can do with referencing. I was at a place in my life where I wanted to get rid of my daddy hurts. So I started seeing a therapist.
Yeah.
And what I didn't realize is when I started seeing a therapist, it wasn't like, every session wasn't about my daddy. And I was like, well, when we gonna start talking about him? And that's how I was feeling. I was being, I was like, I want to talk about him. No, and how it hurt me.
But you gotta talk about other stuff in order to get there.
Are they gonna punch a bag or something?
You could have done that, maybe.
I mean, that's what's always in my head. I'm like, cool. And when she started asking me other questions, I was like, skirt, hold on.
Yeah.
We're not here for that. Time's almost up. This is the second session that we ain't talked about him. And I say all that in a joking manner now, but I get it. I had to go back to me and different things that erupt and why they erupt, the trauma, like you said. And I believe a lot of times that we deal with trauma, but we don't label it as trauma.
No.
So if sometimes things need a label to be addressed. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, I really want to talk about these hurts because I know for a fact the women in this group we want to be free. That's the name of the group, free, and just figuring it out. What is the secret sauce, or what is the combination to really being able to do that?
It's trusting yourself with the things that you have deep down inside of you and allowing that to be able to be heard. One of the things I find is that people, they have a problem with therapy, one, and they can't afford it. And so that is a barrier to you being able to go see somebody to work on you.
Right.
But some therapists have sliding scales where they will offer so many slots in their practice where it's for people who just truly can't afford the regular insurance rates. And so they do a sliding scale. And once you have that opportunity, I believe that opens up many doors for people who cannot necessarily afford traditional to pay a traditional therapist. And so there is a nonprofit called Open Path Collective, and based on the criteria that they have, you can see a therapist between $30 and $60 per session. And that is a big deal for people who are underinsured, who can't afford to pay market sessions, which is between $150 and $200 an hour to see a therapist.
Right.
And so that is a barrier that they cut in half. They ask you some financial questions and things like that. I mean, but if you can see a therapist and begin to work on you and really dig down in that childhood trauma and different things, I mean, because childhood trauma, it carries to your adulthood. It carries into every area of your life if you don't begin to address it. And so that barrier is lessened if you apply to that particular program and start to work on you.
And you're saying something that's very key. And, mental health is major. And in order for us to be mentally healthy, we have to do the work. We can't be afraid to talk about the things that have hurt us, to experience maybe even hurt, to go back down to figure out where the root of it is. Because if we're believers, and I believe in God, I know you do, and whatever you ladies may believe, but we definitely know that all things happen for the good.
Absolutely.
And you have to understand that even in your hurt, your pain, I've learned it produces purpose. When
it does. Yes, it does.
Go through something and you're willing to work on it to see the bigger picture of why you went through it, it allows for you to not only be free, it allows for you to operate in the places that you've been created to operate in. And so I don't want to make it about me, but what are some topics that you've dealt with some of your clients in reference to childhood hurt? So some of the ladies can even maybe go back and recognize, oh, wow, this hurt came from my childhood. So does that make sense?
Yeah. One of my clients I'm dealing with right now, she has had tremendous trauma in her life, and it actually stemmed from her childhood. Her mother abandoned her as a baby,
Mm,
and they got reconnected when she was about 13, but her mother died of an overdose. And
mm,
so she did not have a mother figure in order to tell her what she needed to do. And so she began to go into prostitution, drugs, that kind of thing. And so now she's getting herself clean. And
right.
she's only been 10 months clean. And
Wow.
she's like, I need a sponsor and I need a therapist. And so those are things that we are working on. I mean, and it doesn't have to be that someone is dealing with substance abuse, someone is dealing with alcoholism. It's just the fact that her mother was not around, and she's like, okay, who was supposed to tell me how to be a lady? How
Right.
to, I mean, simple things. She was like, I did not know how to wash my clothes. I did not know how to cook. She's 25. She was
Mm,
like, I didn't know how to cook. No, I wash my clothes. I did not know the basic things of how to take care of myself as a woman.
mm,
Feminine products. And you would think something like that is general,
right.
but she did not know what kind to buy, how to buy them. She just had no clue. And
Right.
so her sponsor took her to the store and explained, this is what you need to do. And so that is deep rooted for her. She's 10 months clean and she's only 25.
Wow. Wow.
And so she's dealing with a lot of trauma. But I told her if she does the work, I'll be there right there beside her. And I'll be there every step of the way. And we're going to help her get to a better place so that she can begin to peel back those layers, because there's resentment. I mean, she's angry at her mother, but
Yeah.
her mother's no longer here. And
Right.
she's like, what do I do? Write your mother a letter. Explain
Yes.
to her what you're feeling, what's wrong with you. I said, and you could share it with me if you like. You can share it with your sponsor. Share it with someone else that you trust,
Yes.
and we will go from there. And
I
so
love
that was her homework assignment on Saturday,
Mm.
because she needs to get it out.
And that's powerful because with the ladies that I coach, I make them do that at times, depending on
Oh
what we're working on, especially if it's unforgiveness.
yeah.
You
Yep.
know, they have
Oh, that's
somebody.
ooh.
I give them the letter assignment, and I had one of my clients. She was so mad at me. When I say she was so upset, she was so upset with me. And when we went back through it, she thanked me after the fact. But just the idea of reliving it for some people,
It hurts.
it hurts.
Yes.
It sends you through all these emotions,
Yes.
things of that nature. And you said something earlier, and I'm an author, you're an author,
Yep.
I'm a writing coach, own my
Yep.
own publishing company. So you said something, and I'm definitely gonna run with it. The fact that you write to heal yourself,
Yes.
it's so powerful. That is such an amazing tool to be able to get it out of your head, your heart, and to literally get it on paper. And so even when I'm coaching my writing clients, I tell them, because a lot of times when people get ready to write, the first thing they say is, well, I don't know where to start. So I teach people, throw up on paper. Just literally throw
Mindset.
up.
Yep.
Right. Just get it out.
Yep.
And so, we might not talk about the topic of their book for a couple of weeks. I'm just getting them in the frame of mind of just throwing up their emotions and getting it on paper and creating a routine. So with this, and I know for me it's worked. I know for my coaching clients it definitely works. The fact that it's so powerful to be able to get it out. And then sometimes what I do with my clients is that somebody who hurt them, I'll make them write it on an index card. They give me the index card. I hold it up. I'm them.
Yep.
What do you say to me?
Yep.
So that is transformational all in itself, because now there's verbalizing. They're getting it all the way
out the chest.
And I know that just like I know, sometimes you can be having your own battle in your head, but once you start speaking it even to yourself, just releasing it and hearing what you're saying, you're like, whoa, it can cause a whole healing and deliverance service in your kitchen, in your bathroom, in the car, in the grocery store, wherever you at. To get it out. And so, for me, I know with the clients that I coach, it's powerful. And so what I love what you're saying is that sometimes we have to sit with the things that have hurt us to figure out where it's come from. And so I think a lot of times we hear, oh, don't relive your past. Well, it's not that I'm reliving my past. I'm so fuel focused. I'm getting to the next place. I have to deal with what's been undealt with. So I need to figure out, why do I like going in cycles? Why am I hurt when I hear a song? Why am I triggered by da 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 da? Why am I hurt when this person says this? And it goes back to your childhood. I used to hear that I was stupid, and I hated even the word. And when I was a teenager, going into college, and even when I was adult up to a couple years ago, and I was like, why do I hate this word? Why do I hate when people be like, "Girl, you stupid," and I get like, "No, I'm not," and I get all defensive. Because my family used to call me stupid.
But that's part of forgiveness.
Indeed.
One thing I've found that forgiveness is powerful if you do it.
Yes.
Forgiveness is actually a key to answer prayers.
Amen.
If you forgive that person who's wronged you and you totally let it go, and I'm not saying it's going to happen like tomorrow, but like you do the work and you really forgive them, prayers that you have said 20 years ago, God will begin to open up what you've asked for. So you have to ask for forgiveness. You got to forgive yourself first. Foremost. Before you do anything, forgive yourself. And after that, forgive the person who wronged you, or the person you think who wronged you. Because you can think that my mom wronged me, but really it wasn't your mom, it was somebody else. And so once you actually forgive yourself and forgive them, God will begin to open up and answer the prayers, things that you've been asking for forever. Then you're gonna start opening up, and you're gonna be like, "Oh my God, I'm amazed. Wait a minute, what happened?" It's because you let forgiveness lead the way.
And that's amazing you said that. I love that. And indeed. So I think, ladies, if you guys are tuning in, what are some issues that you would like to gain a little insight on, and for you to be able to be free from your childhood hurts? What does that look like for you? Type it in so we can talk about it and dialogue around it. So I know, for one, we talked about abandonment issues. We talked about rejection. We talked about, maybe mommy and daddy not being there. I know the power of words can cause people childhood hurts as well. What are some other examples of childhood hurt? And I'm asking you this because I think some people may be tuning into this that may not even realize that they've been hurt somewhere in their childhood, to be able to even realize that there's a reason why they can't move forward in a certain area. And so maybe us talking about it may jog their memory to actually go back and figure out some things as well. Uh-oh, you still there?
Yep. I'm looking at comments and I don't see anything yet because I have it on my phone.
Okay,
I'm trying to make sure I'm not missing anything.
Me too, right?
Hey, everybody, for watching.
Right.
Thank you for joining us. I'm so excited that you guys are here.
So what would you say to somebody that knows that they need to get the help, but is struggling to get the help because they have to go back and do the work, A, and relive some things that are hurtful, B?
I would say, if they don't want to go right into therapy, talk to someone they trust. It could be someone in their family, a close friend, a colleague, a coworker, a church member, someone where they say, "Hey, I need to talk. And I just need for you to listen." And that person really is to just listen. They're not supposed to object anything. They're not supposed to say anything. They're supposed to just be a listening person and let that person listen to what they have to say. And when you're done, they just need to give them a hug and a kiss and just support them in some kind of way.
That's good. I agree with that, because it's indeed a challenge to be able to even reach out and say that, "Hey, I need help," or I need to talk about this, or, this is what's bothering me. Can I talk to you? And so I think it's really powerful what you said that, because a lot of times it's just that first step. We don't know how to make it.
Yep.
And we could really we can really be on our way to getting the feeling we need, but a lot of times it's just the courage of stepping out. Like, what does it really look like? Because
Yeah.
it can be hard. And sometimes we're so used to the dysfunction that we've been dealing with for years. We're comfortable in it.
Yes,
We
we
know,
are.
it's going to take us this way and this way, but I've
Yes.
been this way before, so I know how to maneuver. I know how to get through it. I know how to get past it. So I'll just stay where I'm at and I'm cool. So
But it's not healthy. I mean,
Right.
you really should be trying to move from that area, from that space, from that mindset. And even if it's something as little as, okay, I'm going to write some affirmations. I'm going to write 2 on a sticky note and put it on my refrigerator. I'm going to take my lipstick and write something on my bathroom mirror. I'm not going to erase that because I want to see what the affirmation is every day.
Yeah.
You're at your desk at work and you put a sticky note on your desk on the keyboard. I am loved. I am beautiful. I am honored. Just something so that you can see that every day and begin to change your mind. Your mindset will begin to change once you do positive affirmations.
Can you speak more to that? Because for me, anybody who comes to my house, and it's so funny because they'll be like, "Oh, can I use your bathroom?" And I'm like, "Sure." And then they'll be talking while they're in the bathroom. And I'm like, what are they talking about?
Because they're reading your affirmations.
My affirmations are right. And it's so funny. I'm like, who are they talking
doing?
But they're reading what I wrote on my mirror. So with me, I said
I do that.
I do chalkboard markers and I write things on there. It might be a scripture, it might be something that has caught
I do my scriptures.
Yeah.
That's how I help my daughter learn scripture.
And it's so funny.
She's in her room too, but I'm like, okay, this is our scripture for the week. So we do it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like, who are they? And then sometimes I found, are you okay? And then, Doug's car. To me that's probably, to others that's probably like really, weird that I do that. But
no,
I love it. It helps me out because
there's moments where it helps centers you, it helps ground you, it helps change your mind. Like, this is what I should be doing, or this is what I should be focusing on. This is what I need to get into my spirit, my psyche.
That part.
Yeah.
That part. So with you being a therapist, I know you've seen a lot in your time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you recommend people how do I want to say this? When you say doing the work, I think this is what we need to clarify. And I say it as a coach and you say it as a therapist. Mm-hmm. So when you tell people to do the work, what does that look like? Walk someone through like what that can look like, because I know for me doing the work, it's not easy.
No,
it's not easy. And when you are really in tune, and when I say in tune, maybe it's God, whoever you believe, as you're doing the work, other things will come up and surface so you can deal with that as well, that is attached to what you're dealing with.
When you're doing the work, it starts really once you leave that session.
Okay.
Once you leave that session and once you're driving home, you're processing what happened in the 50-minute session.
Right.
And what were the last parting words, what I got out of it, what helped me, what did not. Because I'm doing the same thing. What did I do to help my client? Ooh. What did I say that maybe they didn't like?
Right.
Because sometimes the truth hurts.
Indeed.
What could I have done different? What could I have done better? What activity could I've presented to them? Mm-hmm. And so I'm wondering the same thing, but when you do the work, you're doing the work, you're leaving that session, you're processing what happened. And if I've given you a homework assignment, you're thinking about, what am I doing? How can I do it? Do I need to reach back out to her? Do I need to text her? I'm sorry, like, I got questions. Who do you want me to connect with? Whether it's your father, it's something that you're not connected with, whether it's writing your mom the letter,
Yeah.
and that's going to cause emotion and pain. Whether that means you need to go to the library and pick up a book of affirmations.
That's good.
It's whatever it is that you need to do in that process.
Yeah.
Say our session is the very next week. I expect you to have your homework done because we're going to work on that when you come back. And even if there's a gap, a 2-week or 3-week, a monthly check-in, we have so much to talk about in between that month.
Right.
So I'm going down the list. Okay, did we do the homework assignment? Did we do this? Did we do that? How are you feeling? Did you go back into your old ways? If substance abuse was your thing, did you go have a drink? Did you go hang out with some folks and you get high? Whatever it is that you do, did you do that? Because that's not going to impede you from doing the work.
Indeed.
You're not able to do it.
That's so powerful. All that is so powerful because I know for a fact that doing the work is difficult.
Yes, it is.
It's difficult. And ladies, I'm not even trying to spook nobody, but I just want to let you know it can be a challenge. And that's why you have to find somebody, a life coach, a therapist, somebody that can help you get through these elements. Because I'll say this, once you do the work and you get to that spot, you will be a totally different person. When I say I'm free, there is no feeling like this. And some people think, you know me, my energy is just all the way like this.
Yeah.
So it went to a whole nother level when I really got free.
Yeah.
I was able to really see myself in a whole different light and able to really honor myself differently because I did the work. Now, and doing the work is even a daily process.
Yes, it is. It's every day.
It's not something that ends. And this is breaking free, so I don't mind being transparent. Something popped up for me last week, and God's like, you didn't deal with this. And I was like, okay, so I know I need to. So literally just walking myself through the steps to being healed, realizing where this hurt came from. And so the type of hurt that I was dealing with came from the different men that I dated. And so, in their words. And then the way that they made me feel, and then just other things. So I was able to really go back and see where that came from. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I was able to, I picked up Joyce Meyer's book, The Battlefield of the Mind.
Oh, I have that in my office.
Oh my God.
To.
So then I just started reading things about my mindset and what I need to do to get rid of the feelings, the emotions that I was feeling in reference to what I was dealing with. And so I'm in a better place now, but just those feelings and emotions coming up, they make you think about it. And you have to figure out, what to do with these. And as I was figuring out what to do with these, there was times where I felt depression trying to come on. I was like, oh, no, gotta shake myself out that. Yeah. I know the signs and the triggers. Yeah, I know the signs and the triggers. So I'm like, nope, gotta leave that alone. Then, I'm lonely. Nope, gotta leave that alone. That's not what this is. So other things were trying to come and attach to me as I was wiggling myself out of these places because the whole freedom thing, the enemy don't want us to be free.
No, he doesn't.
Bound. And so I had to literally fight and shift my mind and be like, no, this is not what this is. And so indeed it's work. And so one of the things that I say is, like Shuri said, find somebody to talk to, find somebody to confine in, find somebody that you can really relate to, because you're gonna want somebody who can handle you and what you got going on. And what I tell people all the time is, this is a process. This is a journey. Don't feel like you got to be She-Ra, Wonder Woman, Superwoman.
Be transparent and let it hang out so that you can really own what you're going through, so that once you do the work, you'll be in a much better place.
It's freedom, So, I mean, it can be something where you don't like your skin complexion because you were bullied as a kid. You don't like the way your voice sounds because people teased you about the words that you would say because maybe you grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood and you're black. So they say,
Mhm.
you talk different. All these different elements that you had to go through as a child.
Yep.
And now they attach to you.
Yep.
And now you're figuring out, how do I get rid of this?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to think of some other things. Like for me, I was called a nigger when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that.
And that's hurtful.
It's hurtful.
It's very hurtful.
And so when you hear words, or for me, I could hear a song, maybe that would trigger me.
Yeah.
So just really doing the work to even get to the place where I can accept the healing.
But
And
everything can be a trigger.
Yeah.
Depending on what you're going through, the words, the smells.
Yes.
The words, the smells, the innuendos. Anything can be a trigger. But just knowing in that moment, okay, this is a trigger. I don't like this, and I'm not about to deal with this.
Woo.
Let me figure out how to turn this off so that I can move away from this and find something that is enjoyable for me to do, that's enjoyable for me to experience, so that it will take me out of that different mindset, that depression, because the triggers, it creeps in. So you want to be able to put yourself in a different environment, whether that literally means going from one place in the city, if you're experiencing something, to the next, or going from one room in your house to the next, because maybe you had some conversations with someone in one of those rooms that you remember. And so you go to another room, like, okay, I'm not letting this come into this room. I'm going to start over.
Wow. That's powerful. Wow. So as you were talking about that, I thought about some of the hurts that may have occurred in some of the ladies' lives. So sex abuse, being raped by a family member or somebody that you knew or someone that you didn't know, being taken advantage of, different things that can really truly stop you from moving forward.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of people just don't know how to deal, so they don't. And that's dangerous.
In order for them to move forward, they have to look it dead in the face. They have to do something, because if not, it's going keep a stronghold on them if they don't figure out how to move forward.
So what are some keys to help people to move forward? What would you say would be one of the biggest things that somebody can do to actually say, you know what, I'm tired of the cycles, I'm ready to move forward?
One, identifying what that cycle is. Reaching out and asking for support. And the last thing, being gentle with yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Say, you know what, I know I got this going on, but I'm going to stand in my truth. I'm going to figure this out, and I'm going to move forward. I am determined that I'm going to move forward. I'm going to move out of this arena. I'm going to do something different. And once you make your mind up, you'll be able to do it. It may be slow, but what they say, slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady will win that race. But you gotta be consistent. You gotta keep doing it. You can't just start it one day and stop it the next day and think you're gonna have what's what I'm looking for. I think that's it. It fixed it. No, it's not gonna fix it. You gotta start over 4, 5, 6, 7, a million times before it actually gets down in your shunda, and you actually say, "I got this. I'm gonna do this." Like, I'll give you an example. I'm in my office. My fiance died 3 years ago in January. It took me 2 years to come into my office. I literally just closed the door in my office and I wouldn't come in here. Although I had plenty of stuff in here, the office is where we had our powwows. We talked about our life, our dreams, our goals, everything was going to do. I mean, I had stickies and paper, all kind of stuff. I refused to come into my office. My girlfriend came to visit and say, this door has been closed long enough. Open up the door. No, I ain't ready for that. I'm good. She was like, I'm going to stand right here with you
Mm.
She had a box of tissue. She said, we're going to grab this door together and we're going to open up this door because you need to let him breathe. That was one of the most powerful things that happened in my experience with trying to, because you never get over grief, but begin to let go of my grief. That was one of the most powerful experiences besides doing the work with my therapist. That was it. And when I opened up that door, the emotions, they came down. I was very vulnerable. And I'm like, I'm the therapist. I ain't supposed to be crying. But I cried. And I literally sat in the middle of my floor in my office and I cried. I cried because I held all that in.
Yeah.
And I began to let it come down on me. And it was just a big weight lifted off me. And so now I did all work, wrote books, did all kind of stuff on the edge of my bed in the kitchen. Now every day I come home and I sit in my office.
Wow.
I sit in my office every day. I sit in my daughter to do what she got to do, but every day I spend time in my office because it connects me to him.
Yeah.
And so I'm in my office every day.
Wow.
So letting go of that hurt, that trauma, that grief, that it helped to be able to identify what I was feeling, what I was doing, and just tackle it head on. Because I know I needed to do it. If I didn't, I couldn't move forward.
Right.
So,
Right. So, ladies, I know I don't want to keep you guys too long, but I do want to empower you to, like my sister said, acknowledge those areas where you know something's off. You know it because you know when it's off.
Yep.
You know when you have those feelings and emotions that rise
Yep.
up. You know when something is undealt with. And I really challenge you to get it done. Go back and do the work so you can be completely whole, completely free.
Absolutely.
So you can allow for even God to open doors, because especially if it's unforgiveness, I'm a witness to that. The
Yes.
moment I really truly, like for real forgave my dad, when I say doors, windows, crevices, anything
Open.
God used to bless me, he did, because I
Yes.
finally had it settled in my heart that I was going to forgive my dad.
Yes.
And then even my mom, I had to forgive her for something.
Absolutely.
And once I really said that and did it, I mean, it releases a whole other power and energy even over you, to where when situations come up and that remind you of the thing, you're no longer moved in that area. You're no longer so emotional to where it just depletes you. You're no longer in a place where you're going around the mountain and not up the mountain. You really have the power to shift your mind by going back and cleaning up what needs to be dealt with. Now it happened. Now what are you going to do with it? And and even with things that are going on in the world, it's showing you clear as day, we're here. The world ain't going well. It's slowly fading away. It's slowly fading away. You want to make sure that you are living up to who God, the creator, whatever belief system you had, created you for, to be able to operate on purpose, for purpose, as I always say. And you can't really be able to move on to your next until you deal with your now and your past. And when it hurts, ladies, it's gonna cause pain, but the pain doesn't last always. It doesn't. And so one of the things that helped me was going back to my family and asking them some things that I didn't know. So like on my dad's side of the family, ministry is very heavy. I have apostles and bishops and you name it. I sure knew it wasn't on my mama's side, so I had to figure out it had to be on my daddy's side, because I don't roll like that on my mama's side of the family. But to be able to know some of the things that I had to help me deal with some of the things that I didn't want to deal with, but I was forced to deal with, now I was getting answers. And I know some of you guys are thinking, I was raised, what goes on in the house stays in the house. That's a lie. That's a lie from the pits of hell.
Tell it to someone you trust.
That part, you have to get out of your mind even hearing that as a child, because that statement will keep you bound from the things that you dealt with as a child. That
Yep.
is a lie. No, you need to deal with it. You need to find someone, a therapist, somebody you trust,
Yeah.
and confide in, and deal with the hurt. You
Yep.
will not be able to move forward until you deal with the hurt.
I agree.
Period. There's
Yeah.
no way.
No.
The childhood rejection, the childhood depression,
You have to.
you have to deal with it. And people like childhood depression, yes, it
Yeah.
exists.
Children experience depression as irritability.
Mm,
So they don't, oh, I'm depressed. They're irritable. They're having fights at school. They can't sleep at night. Their stomach is hurting. They're irritable. That's how childhood depression looks.
wow, that part, that part.
Yeah.
So, in order for us to be everything we've been created to be, ladies, we have to do the work. And so, um, I do want you to talk about the books that you've actually published, and talk a little bit about, because maybe someone's dealing with a death that occurred when they were a child that they still haven't been able to get over. And so if you can share what you do as a grief therapist, that would be amazing.
Okay. Well, I tell people all the time I'm an author by accident. Truly I am. Although I've written 4 books, and I have an anthology, which is a collaboration project. But I'm an author by accident. I lost my fiance, and as a therapist, I'm like, I can handle this. I know what to do, but really I didn't. And so I would write in my journal on the edge of my bed for 10 minutes a day. Those sentences became chapters, or chapters actually became pages. Those pages actually became books. And so my first book, which is my baby, 12 Lessons of Healing Through Grief, that is the book I wrote on the edge of my bed. And it took me forever to write it because I was still in the midst of my grief journey. And so I would cry, boo-hoo, 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 set my journal down, write a little bit more, pick it back up, middle of the night, because I took time off of work because I could not sleep. I couldn't function. And so one thing I do want to say is, if you're dealing with, we talking about childhood rejection, but that actually can go into depression and anxiety and PTSD and a bunch of other mental health conditions. Do not be afraid to take medication if you need it. Do not be afraid. Medication is to help you. It is to get you stabilized and get you in a better place. And so if you have a conversation with your primary care physician and they suggest medication, hear them out.
Wow.
Hear what they have to say in terms of why they feel that this medication will help, whether it's Paxil or some of the other medications that we use for mood that they may prescribe. Be transparent with your primary care physician and say either, I think this is going to work, or no, it's not. Don't be afraid to take it, because at the end of the day, their main goal is to get you healthy. And so don't be afraid of medication. And so one of the things that you can do in terms of healing is, if you're going through grief or loss or trauma, is if it's medication, take the medication that they prescribe it, but journal to heal, write to heal.
Yes.
That is one of the most important things. And so I took that and I ran with it, and I would not stop writing books. I have several, but the project that I guess I'm most proud of is I wanted to share stories of other women I knew who experienced some type of a loss. And it didn't necessarily have to be a physical loss, but when I put together the anthology, that's what happened. And so those ladies shared stories. I was literally in tears because once you tell your truth,
Come on.
once you get it out and get it out of your head and into paper,
Yes.
if someone else reads it,
Come
you
on.
are helping somebody. I promise. I still
Yes.
go back and read that book, and I published that book last year in July. I published that book in July, and I still have a connection with the ladies. We still talk very often, but it's just like, you know what? I'm going to keep on writing. So I'm continuing to do other things related to letting go of grief because I mean, everybody experiences loss at some point in their life. I made a post this morning about the coronavirus. That is something that is really it's forefront of the news. It's a pandemic now, and no matter if you're 80 years old or 20 years old, when you lose someone, it still hurts.
Yeah.
And so you need tools to begin to heal
Yes.
if you've lost someone. And
Indeed.
so having a support system, and just being grateful, having gratitude for the time you spent or shared with that person that you loved. That's key. That is key. So I mean, just being able to be true to who you are. And if journaling is your thing, or if it's not your thing, pick it up.
Yes.
Pick it up, write a sentence, a couple of words. And even if you don't use an actual journal, use your phone. Every phone has a notepad feature. Write a few words, a sentence or something in it. Put it down. Don't worry about it, whatever. When you feel led to pick it back up, do it.
Indeed.
Because once you begin to let those feelings, those words come out, you begin to feel better.
You do. I love that. Thank you
Yep.
so much for sharing.
Yeah.
So, you guys, I want you guys to really think about what was said tonight. If there's something that really stands out in your mind, feel free to inbox me. Feel free, she's Cherie's a part of the community.
Yeah.
So you can always inbox her as well.
Yeah, inbox me. Yep.
Yeah, and so this is a healthy discussion. It's something that we don't talk about a lot. We just deal as women.
Yeah.
As women, we wear so many hats,
Yes.
and we do so much, but we neglect self. And when we
Yes.
neglect self, we neglect even getting healed from areas that we need to get healed from once and for all. And so that's why I created this group, this movement, because we need to be able to, one, understand that sisterhood is super powerful. It doesn't have to be a competition thing. It doesn't have to be anything like that. Sisterhood is for us to be able to I sound like a broken record, able to really lean on each other's shoulders, to be able to inbox a sister and say, hey, I'm struggling today. This is what I'm dealing with.
Absolutely.
And to understand that it's okay. We all have these moments. We all have these trials. We have everything. We're human. Let's we're superhuman because we're women.
Yeah.
But at the same token, we're human. And so we go through different things. And so one of the things I've learned is to just be transparent. Just be real. Be raw. There's no reason to fake and juck and jive like you got it all together, because baby, we don't. And this communities like this are needed so we can go ahead and share about what we're really dealing with. A lot of times as women, we let our Mac, Lancome, you name it, cover up what we got going on. And then in the core, we're broken. We are messed up from the floor up and trying to figure out how to make it as women. And so, conversations like these need to be had. Self-reflection is huge. Looking at yourself and figuring out, okay, you know what, something's off. Let me make this right. I need to be the best version of myself, not only for me, but for my purpose. Maybe it's your family, maybe it's your kids, maybe it's your spouse, maybe it's your profession. But having these real, honest, raw talks allows for us to be vulnerable, one, and allows for you to know that you're not alone. It allows for you to know that there's women out here that are dealing with the same things or have dealt with the same things. and can give you wisdom nuggets on how to move forward. This is what this is all about. Because when you got chains, you can't move. You may be able to move, but you ain't moving at your full capacity. And we're meant and created to move in such a way that we can be productive in all areas of life. And you can't be productive when you're holding on to junk. And that's what this is. When you hold on to stuff that you really need to let go on, you are holding yourself back from other things. I will never forget, back in December, I received a prophecy that blew my mind. This prophet didn't know me from Adam. Somebody inboxed me and said, hey, check this out. I checked it out. I got called out. And what this lady said to me on a Facebook Live, and I knew it was God speaking through her. There are some things that you have held on to even as far as 5 years ago, and you need to let people go. So I wrote them a letter. When I say I wrote them a letter and released them. And it was the most freeing thing ever.
Yep.
I really didn't realize on how much pain was there until that prophet reminded me of the hurt that I went through 5 years ago in a specific situation and setting, to where he literally gave me 5 people. Now that ain't by chance. Situation 5 years ago and gave me 5 people, 5 grace. No.
That ain't.
No. And so, and I share my stories because I want to help y'all. I want to help y'all get to the places where y'all can be free in your mind, your heart, your soul, and just be free to be you unapologetically, not caring what people think about you, not caring what they say behind your back, because baby, believe they talking about you. And that's okay. They talked about Jesus. So let them talk. But you're doing the work to be all that you've been created to be. And so this topic was near and dear to my heart, because when I read the statistics on how many people are stuck because of childhood hurt and rejection, it blew my mind.
Wow.
There's a lot of people that don't even know how to do the work. They don't even know how to find the help. Or they've been told, if I go to a therapist, I'm crazy. If I go to a therapist, I'm stupid. Why would you go to a therapist and tell them all your problems? They don't need to know what you're going through. And so situations like this, conversations like this are indeed needed. So I thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for joining the community. Thank you for being true. Thank you for being a real woman of God.
Thank you.
Just owning up to who God has created you to be. So if you could share how people can follow you on social media, your website, all that information, so people can be healed once and for all.
They can reach me through my website. It's www.cheriebarnesauthor.com. That's CherieBarnes.com. They can follow me on Facebook, Cherie Barnes. My page is open. It's not private. That's my personal page. And all of the links are there. You can follow me on Twitter. Jeff Cherie B is my handle, and Instagram author_Cherie B. But if you forget all of that, my personal page is open, and all of the links are there to connect with me. So if someone wants to connect with me, they can do so. Thank you so much.
It. Someone said I need a full detox as I identify and deal with dysfunction from my childhood.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
It is.
Just you saying that part right there is a huge game changer, because you actually said it out loud.
Oh yeah. They identified it. They identified it for one. They released it and let it go and put it out into the universe.
Yes.
And so now the work begins.
Yes.
Now the work begins.
Indeed. Yep. So thank you so much, ladies who are catching this live in the replay. Whenever you catch this, thank you so much for watching this. And we pray that something that we've said will jolt you forward and really charge you to be free, to do the work, to gain the freedom that not only do you really own, but yet you deserve.
Yes,
I agree so much. Tune in. I'm not sure what we're going to talk about every second and fourth. What's today? Tuesday. Duh.
Yeah.
Every second and fourth Tuesday, we're going to talk about something that we need to break free from. That's why we call it Tell the Truth Tuesdays. So, not sure what we're going to talk about on the fourth Tuesday yet. I got an idea. I haven't solidified it yet.
Okay.
And if you guys have any suggestions on something that you want us to talk about, let us know.
Sure.
I really want to start getting a panel of women together just to be able to dialogue around different things. So it's not just me and you, it's me, you, and her, and her, and her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really be able to bring that thing to a spearhead and just to be able to hear different people's perceptions and perceptions and perspectives on different things. I'm getting excited because I really feel like this was powerful.
It was.
And when I get excited like this, sometimes I stumble over my words. I don't care anymore. I know when I get all energized and excited, that's what I do. Whatever. Something I've owned about me. I am not perfect. And I don't care if my message still gets across anyway.
Yep.
Or boom.
Yep. Yep.
I'm a mess. Yes, I own that too. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate you. We love you. And do the work to be free. Y'all
That's
deserve
right.
it. Y'all own it. Mwah. Talk to you soon.
Bye.